You say, welcome back to the outsider's perspective.
Welcome back
To the outsiders.
to your poop poop.
Per.
Pull
Spec.
back
Tiv.
tail.
Welcome back to the outsider's perspective. My name is Ollie, and here's your loaf of daily bread. Today's loaf of bread comes to us from the poet and mystic Kahlil Gibran, and it goes like this. Is not religion all deeds and all reflection, and that which is neither deed nor reflection, but a wonder and a surprise ever springing in the soul, even while the hands hew the stone or tend the loom? Who can separate faith from actions, or belief from occupations? Who can spread his hours before him, saying, this for God and this for myself, this for my soul and this other for my body? And he to whom worshipping is a window to open but also to shut, has not yet visited the house of his soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn. Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Whenever you enter into it, take with you your all. Take your plow and the forge and the mallet and the lute, the things you have fashioned in necessity or for delight. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddles. Rather, look about you, and you shall see him playing with your children. And look into space. You shall see him walking in the clouds, outstretching his arms in the lightning, and descending in the rain. You shall see him smiling in flowers, then rising and waving his hands in trees. This passage is quite lengthy, but I wanted to share it with you because it touches on two of my favorite topics, religion and God. When Kahlil says, is not religion all deeds and all reflection, and something in between that is neither? What he's saying is religion is life. Life is religion. Everybody has a religion, whether they're atheistic or Catholic or whatever. Your religion is your way of living. It's your belief system. And you may proclaim yourself a Christian or a Muslim or any other number of things, but ultimately, your religion is what you do, what you think, and, of course, what you feel. So religion is a way of life, and your way of life is a religion. It's your religion. Your personal religion. And even if you've incorporated pieces of other organized religions into your belief system, know that your belief system is unique. Even if you identify as a Catholic or a Buddhist or whatever, you practice a very unique version of that because you have brought your own personal experiences and your own attributes and your own tendencies to that belief system. So you've made it your own, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, it is a unique version of that belief system. When he says, who can spread their hours between God and myself, between soul and body, what he's saying is these things are all one. And so whatever you do for your soul is also for your body. Whatever you do for God is also for yourself. Especially if you believe, as I do, that God is something that dwells within you, your highest self. Then everything you do is for God. There are many beautiful lines in this passage as well, which is another reason I wanted to share it. For instance, when he says, for he to whom worshipping is a window to open but also to shut. Not only is this beautiful, but it also evokes in me images of these people who go to church on Sunday, but then the rest of the week they live a life of debauchery and sin, for example. Or people who claim to be Christians and who go to church, but who practice a lifestyle that is totally opposed to the teachings of Christ. These are people who regard worship as a window that you open and that you also shut. On Sundays you open the window and the rest of the time it is closed. And of these people, Gibran says, they have not yet visited the house of their soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn. I don't know what that means, but I know how it makes me feel. And, I think Gibran is trying to describe an experience here that is very hard to put into words. So I like the imagery that it evokes. Then we get to my favorite part of the passage, because he says, your daily life is your temple and your religion. And this is how I feel. My belief system, my personal religion or philosophy or whatever you want to call it, is something that I take with me everywhere I go. It's not something that I open and close like a window. It's my life, and it's synonymous with my life. So my daily life is my religion and my temple. It's where I practice. Then he goes on to say, whenever you go into your temple, whenever you go into your place of worship, which is everyday life, he says, take with you your all. Take everything with you. Let your religion, your belief system affect everything, in other words. Don't keep anything segregated, because your entire life is your religion and your temple. So he says, take your plow and your forge and your mallet and your lute. Take your desktop computer, take your tool belt, take whatever it is that you need for your job. Take everything that you have made out of necessity or for your own pleasure. Because you can never rise above your achievements and you can never fall lower than your failures. So take everything with you and don't leave anything on the table. Make sure that your way of living, your religion, encompasses everything and affects everything and permeates every aspect of your life, from your job and hobbies to your family life and everything in between. And then the last part, Gibran tells us that if you want to know God, don't be a solver of riddles. Look around and you'll see God everywhere. Playing with your kids, walking in the clouds, reaching with thunder and coming back to earth in the rain, smiling in the flowers and waving his hands in the trees. This speaks to the pantheist in me. This speaks to the belief that nature and God are synonymous, a belief that I hold and maintain. See, I do believe in God, but my God is not the bearded sky daddy of the Abrahamic traditions. It is not a multi-armed, half-animal, half-human deity. For me, God is nature. Nature is God, or at least nature is a part of God. God's will, or God's spirit, which animates and shapes and molds matter and energy. So when Gibran tells us that if you look around, you will see God everywhere, I totally agree. And my heart sings when I read such lines. And so I wanted to share this entire section of the prophet with you, because it's such a beautiful, beautiful passage, and because it has profound wisdom in it. And not all of the wisdom in this passage is clearly understood by the intellect. And I, for one, like that. You can feel your way through this line as much as understand it intellectually. And that's the hallmark of mysticism and mystical poetry, like the works of Rumi, for example, which are, again, sublime and beautiful even in translation, and furthermore contain wisdom that doesn't necessarily make rational sense. But when I read some of these poems, the best way that I can express it is that it makes my heart sing. It makes me feel glory inside myself. I don't know. It makes me feel bliss, euphoria. I feel like, yes, that's it. But I don't know why, and I can't really explain it. So to me, this is stuff that speaks to the heart, to the intuition, and which is very powerful and potent. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for joining us, and live well, my friends.